Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you to the next Python session, that is installing Python on Windows and then on Linux distros. In the first part, we will consider installing Python on Windows. After that, we also consider installing Python on Linux. Now, in order to install Python on Windows, you will open your browser. In this case, I'm using Brave browser. Then I'll type Python in the address bar. But I will choose to add .org so that it will directly take me to the Python's website. And I'm in the Python's website now. Now I want to download Python, so I'll hover my mouse on the downloads. Then from there I'll choose download for Windows, that's Python 3.1.1.1. I'll click on it. It will open a dialog box for me. But as you can see, I have already downloaded the Python executable file here, so there is no need for me to do it again. So in this case, I will cancel this one, then open my downloads folder, then search for this, the Python extension, but I have it already, so I will double click on it to install for me. So the Python executable is opening. Now you can see the Python executable file opened here. Now there are two ways of installing Python. We have the customized way and then the default way. But I would want us to try the customized way, because with the customized way we'll be able to add certain things that are important, certain things that will be installed or downloaded alongside the installation of Python. So I will add Python to the extension, to the path, so that in the future when we install our code editor, it will automatically detect that Python has been added to the path. So after that, I'll choose customize installation. Now the documentation is ticked. The pip package that helps us to install other Python packages is also ticked. The TCL/TK and IDLE, that's the Python IDLE development environment, and then the TK is Tkinter for developing Python GUI softwares. We have Python test suite, we have the PyLauncher. I'll choose next, and then I can choose to install Python for all users, but I won't do that because Python has a default folder location that installs itself in, so I will leave it. Then I'll take precompile standard library. It will add the standard library of Python for me. Then I'll take download debugging symbols. Then I'll take download debugging binaries. After that, I'll choose install. So as you can see, the core interpreter is installing, and then it will download and then install additional things that I ticked. Now, since Python is installing, I would like us to check some of the things we can do with Python and then the jobs that we can get in Python. So back in the browser, I'll go down, and then you see the docs here is actually Python's documentation. You can go there and find information about Python there. You can see what's new in Python 3.11. You can see installing Python modules, distributing Python modules. Then at the left side, you can see the Python versions. As you can see, Python 3.12 is in development. So with the Python documentation, you can get any information that you want on Python there. And then as we move on, you can see what Python is used for. It can be used for web development, it can be used for GUI development, it can be used for scientific and numeric development, software development, and then system administration. Beside what can Python be used for, you can see there are several packages beside it: Django, Pyramid, Tkinter. As we move on, I'll also teach you how to install other Python packages. And then let's check some of the jobs that we can get. when we learn Python. In learning Python, we can learn there are 68 jobs here. That's not worldwide though, that's just here. So as time goes on, you see that there will be an increased demand in Python. Now you can be a staff Python backend engineer, Python software engineer, senior data scientist, integrations developer, senior software engineer. There are so many jobs here. You see, the job board sponsors, Google sponsors it, Microsoft Azure, Nvidia, Ansys, Indeed, Bloomberg, AWS. You see, all these companies, Anaconda, also support Python. Alright, Python is still installing, so let's wait for a little bit for our Python installation to complete. So actually, there are so many things here. You can find the information that you can find on Python. Okay, so our setup has installed successfully. Now let's minimize the browser because we'll be using it for another thing. Now in order to check if Python has been installed properly, we will launch our Windows terminal. Those using Windows 10, it is called command prompt. So I'll open Windows terminal, maximize it and increase the font size. Then I'll type Python. Now when you get this information, that means Python has been installed successfully on your machine. You see, this is Python. So as I'm in Python's shell, let me try to output something. So I'll say print hello world. That's a conventional sentence every beginner uses. Print hello world. You see, it has outputted hello world for me. So as you can see, Python has been installed successfully. So let me exit out of the shell and then show you some of the things associated with this. So I am out of the shell. Now let's check the current Python version that we are using. So I'll type Python version to check the Python's version. As you can see, we are using the latest version, that's Python 3.1.1. Then I also talked about pip, a package that helps us to install other Python packages. So I also check if the pip package has been upgraded to the latest version. So I'll say pip install upgrade pip. So I'll wait for a little bit. Okay, so it tells me requirement already satisfied. So that means that pip has already been installed and then it is the current version that we are using. So let's try to install another Python package. So let's say we are installing, let's say NumPy. So actually NumPy is a library or a package that helps data scientists to do data analysis. So pip install NumPy. So it also tells me requirement already satisfied. That means NumPy has been successfully installed. So let's try Keras. Pip install Keras. Okay, so it is collected Keras, downloading Keras. You see, this is how we install Python packages. It's very simple. So let's wait for it to finish, then we move on. Okay, So that is that. So I have shown you how to install a Python package. So as time goes on, we'll be installing some of the Python packages that we'll be using in our lessons. So since Python is working in a terminal, I also want to show you Python's IDLE. It looks the same as opening Python in a terminal. So I'll move this to the right side, then I will navigate and then open Python's IDLE. So I'll click on my start button. I can just type Python here, and then it will bring the IDLE, or I can still click here, move to all apps, then find Python. So I am opening the Python shell in the terminal, then we will compare it to the Python's IDLE shell. As you can see, as I told you, it's the same information that you get here. You see, Python 3.1 tags, the same thing. So it's actually the same thing that you get. So if I say print Kofi in the Python IDLE shell, it will output Kofi. If I also type the same thing here, print Kofi, it also output Kofi. If let's say I will declare a variable, let's say name is equal to Kofi, then I'll say print name. So it will print the name for me. Now a variable is just a container that helps us to store values. See, as time goes on, I'll introduce you to some of these things, then it will make our lessons interactive. So this is Python's IDLE shell. Now you see, this is just blank. Now you see, programmers want something that they can interact with, something that will help them just be able to do a one click away, just click and then it will run for them without typing a lot of commands. So that is where we will learn about IDEs and then code editors. Now we have a code editor. A code editor is just like a notebook. You see, when you want to write facts or state something to be able to recall it later, we do what? We write it in a notebook. That is what a code editor does for a programmer. It helps the programmer to also do what? Write codes. That's just a code editor. But we want an IDE, something that contains a source code editor, something that has build automation tools, something that has a debugger. That is what IDE does. That is integrated development environment. Now, what is integrated development environment? Integrated development environment is a software that provides comprehensive facilities to computer programmers for software development. That is the explanation that Wikipedia will give you. But Red Hat also has its explanation for an IDE. Yeah, so IDE. Sorry, I typed IDE for Python. So the explanation I gave here was Wikipedia's explanation. Now, Red Hat will also tell you an integrated development environment is software for building applications that combines common developer tools into a single GUI. You see, common developer tools into a single GUI. So this means that you won't be typing the commands, you just be clicking and then it will be working at the back end for you. Now, There are so many IDEs that programmers use. Now, I'm in hacker.io. Now, it says 10 best Python IDE and code editors. Now, the featured ones are PyCharm, that's hugely popular and powerful. Then we have Visual Studio Code and then Jupyter Notebook. So as time goes on, we'll be using Jupyter Notebooks. Now we can practically install Jupyter Notebook in our terminal. So I'll click on terminal and I'll type pip install. It is also a Python package, Jupyter Notebook. So you can say pip install Jupyter Notebook. So you see it is giving me requirement already satisfied. That means I've already installed the Jupyter Notebook. So there's no need for me to redo it again. So I'll minimize the terminal. Then let's check some of the IDs. We have PyCharm. It is available on Linux, Mac, and then Windows. We also have PyDev. We also have the Python's IDLE. We have Visual Studio Code. We have Sublime. We have Jupyter Notebook. We have Spider. We have Wing. We have GNU/Emacs. Now and then Thorny. Now these are all IDs, but in our course we will be using Visual Studio Code. So in installing Visual Studio Code, all I have to do is type Visual Studio Code. It's already there, or I can type VS Code. It's the same thing. Yes. Now since it has brought me the suggested options, I'll just click on this one, Visual Studio Code, Code Editing Redefined. Then I'll click Download for Windows, since we are learning how to install Python and then the IDE on Windows. So I'll click Download for Windows. Then it will load and then download it for me. But I already have it, so there's no need for me to re-download it. So I'll open my downloads folder. It's here. Then I'll double click on it to install. Okay. So I'll choose I accept the agreement. Move to next. Then it will also install in its default folder. I'll click on next. You can choose to add a start menu folder or not. Click on next. You can create a desktop icon, add that open with code in the Windows Explorer file context menu. I'll show you that. You can take this one to, then I'll choose next for the installation to take place. As you can see, it says that getting started. Visual Studio Code is a lightweight but powerful source code editor which runs on your desktop and is available for Windows, Mac OS, and then Linux. Okay, so my Visual Studio Code editor has been installed. So I'll click on finish to also launch it. Okay, so I have opened my Visual Studio Code. Okay, so as you can see, mine is in the dark theme. If you want to change the theme, you can just come and then click here. That's the settings. Choose color theme. Then you choose the theme that you want. It's here. Actually, Visual Studio Code uses this theme. Yes, this theme. But I don't want it. I don't want to use this theme. I like black themes. So I choose color theme and then AU dark. I also teach you how to install themes. Yeah, this is it. So Visual Studio Code Editor has been installed. Now let's try to install Python extension to enhance our coding. So I'll choose this one, extensions. Then I'll type Python. It's loading. So make sure that you click on the Python that is tagged with Microsoft. Yes, then you install it. You click on install to install it. After that, you type Python Environment Manager, then install that one too. When you are done with that one too, you choose Python Extension Pack. With the Python Extension Pack, it has 7 extension packs. So it has the auto docstring, which I have already installed. It has Python, Jinja package, Django, IntelliCode, Python indent. This one will correct indentation. There is indentation in Python, and then if you don't go according to the indentation rule, there will be an error. So it is better to have extensions that will help you indent your code. Yeah, that is that. So that is how we install Python and then the code editor, then some extensions in Python. Now let's create a file in Python. Now as you can see, I have this file here, hello.py. So let me delete it, or I can leave it, and then let's create a new file. So in creating a new file, it's simple. You can click on file, then new file, then choose Python file. You see we have untitled -i. So let's save it. So file, save as. So we'll give it a name. So let's say new.py. Then save it. Now this is a new Python file. So let's say you want to code something in it. I'll say print. So welcome to Xcode Python lessons. Xcode Python lessons. This is it. So I will save it again, open a terminal. Now you see that's the name that we used for the Python file was new.py. So I'll say Python new.py. So you see the output was welcome to Xcode Python lessons. But with this same thing, we can use a different method to output our code, which is we install an extension called Code Runner. So I actually have it here. Code Runner. So you install that extension. After installing that extension, all you have to do is to come back to your Python file, you can add something to it. So let's see, print Wings is teaching you. So I'm actually Wings, the one taking you through the course. So when you move to the right side, you see a play button here. It's actually a run code button. When you click on that one too, the output here will be welcome to Xcode Python lessons. Wings is teaching you this. So you see, that is how source code editors and then IDEs behave. Unlike with this one, with the terminal, I'll have to come here, clear this, clear this, type Python, and come and code here. You see, this is not interactive. Just type it. You see, it's not really interactive. So that is why programmers require the use of source code editors or IDEs to be able to enhance their coding. You see, IDEs helps us to code faster. Yes. So that is how you install Python, and then installing your IDE and also installing an extension in the IDE. So that is how you install that on Windows. Now let's move on to our Linux distros. So I'm actually using a VM, and the VM I'm using Parrot Security. So I have my password, then we enter into our Linux distro. Now in our Linux distro, we won't necessarily have to install Python again, because with Linux distributions, Python comes as part of the operating system. It has already been installed. And then the nicest thing is that we have two versions of Python in that. We have Python 2 and then Python 3. So actually when I open my terminal, and I type Python, it will first give me the Python 2.7.18. That's the Python 2 version. Then when I exit from this version and type Python 3, it also bring me the latest Python 3.9 version. You see, yes. So that is how Python works in the Linux distros. And then in the Linux distros too, with the Parrot OS, it actually has about 2, 3 or more IDEs. We have the VS Code. Yeah, so when I type VS Code, you see there is VS Code, which helps you to code Python in it. Then we also have Vim. Here. You see, we have Vim, we have New Vim. You see, all these can help you code. You see, same thing. then we have Geany, this one too, a lightweight, you see, a fast and lightweight IDE. You see, so we have multiple IDEs present in Linux too, so there's no need installing other or additional IDEs. You see, but in Kali Linux there is not a code editor in it, so you have to install your own code editor. So with this one, you follow the same process as you did in Windows. Yeah, install it from a browser. But here, after that, I'll move to downloads. Then, sorry, I have so many things installed here. Let me try and then clear all these so that you'll be able to see what you're actually doing. Yes, so I have this one and then this one. This one is actually the latest version. This is Visual Studio Code for Linux. So I will open the terminal here, and then since with Linux we deal with commands, I'll say sudo, that's super user do. Yes, that's super user do. So sudo dpkg, yes, -I. Then I can just take this and then bring it here. You see, it will unpack and then install for me. It's simple as that. So sudo dpkg-I, this one. Then you go along. Sorry. Or I can double click with this one. It also has a GUI way of installing it. Has a package installer. So when I double click on it, you see, this one is installing, so you won't find the install package here. So if this hadn't been set, the install package would have been activated, and all I have to do is to click on install package. So it's here rather. So I'll click on install package and then it will install for me. So that is how we install Visual Studio Code in Linux. So for those of you using Kali Linux, you can follow this step, and then if you are using Parrot Security 2, you can also follow this step. You see, most of the developers use Visual Studio Code instead of VS Codium, even in Parrot OS. So if you wish to install Visual Studio Code, this is how you go about it. So you see, it has been installed already. Yeah. So I'll come to menu and type VS. So you see, Visual Studio Code has been installed. I'll click on it and then wait for it to open. Okay, yes, it's here. So let me maximize it. Yeah. So this is it. You can actually choose a theme that you want. Practically, I like black. So the dark theme has been selected already. Yeah. So choose the look you want. I've chosen this one. So sync to final. You can skip all these, or you can mark all as done. Then you move on. So let's install an extension here. So we want Python. So type Python. Yeah. search for the one that is tagged with Microsoft. So it's here. I can click install from here. Yeah, so as you can see, it is installing. Then previously I told you to check Python extension here, Python extension pack. I'll click on install so that the other extensions here will also be installed. So I can click on that, it is installing. I can click on this one. These are all in the extension pack. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm installing all the necessary stuff that I need. It is installing. So I also add the code runner here. Code runner. You see that the play button, the play like button is not here. Yes, it's actually run code button. So if I install this one, you realize that after that you'll find it here. So let's wait and see. So you see the code runner actually says that it can run C, C++, Java, JS, that's JavaScript, PHP, Python, Perl, Ruby, Go, Lua, Groovy, most of the things. You see, when it got installed, the run code is here. So that's that. I can also install Prettier. It's a code formatter. Yes, so all these are extensions, so you have to choose what you want. Okay, so after that, let's also create a Python file and run it and see. So it says that I haven't opened the folder yet, so click on open folder. Now choose documents, then Python. Now click on open. So it will reload it for me. Yes, and then I'll have to trust the author that this is the parent folder that I'm going to use. So I have trusted this one. So creating a new file, so I can create a new file. I can click here or click here to create a new file. So let's say I'll click here. Here you have to type the file name. So let's say new plus the extension. So Python extension is .py. Yes. Or I can click here, new file, then I'll choose the kind of file that I want here. So Python file. Yeah. So you see this one, it says untitled. It is not actually a full Python file yet. So I'll have to click on file, save as, and give it a name. Sorry, it's wasting time. So save as, and I'll say newer .py. So save. See, so new and then newer. So I'll say print welcome to Python on Linux. Yes, so I'll save this one and then click on run to run the code. You see, it says welcome to Python on Linux. You see, so this is how you install Python in Linux. And also there is one extension in Visual Studio Code that I will recommend. It is called Jupyter Notebooks. So I'll click on the extension and type Jupyter, but it's actually here. So all I have to do is to click on this one, and then it has been already installed. Yeah. When I installed the Python, it has been installed already. Yeah, that's actually nice. So that is all for installing Python in Linux. So let me shut my VM down and then we'll move back. So this is how you install Python on Linux and then Python on Windows. So let's also check if we have our Jupyter Notebook extension installed in our Windows Visual Studio Code. So Jupyter Notebooks. Okay, so this also installed here. So that is that. So all these are extensions. So you choose the one that you prefer and then you install. So let's say I want Prettier. That's already been installed here. So that's that. Yeah. So you can play around it, try to change your VS Code icons, try to add, and then do a lot of stuff. Now you realize that I said print blah blah blah, print blah blah blah. Now print is actually used if you want to output something. Yes, to output something for someone to see. Yes, so that is why we used print. And then we can also use, let's see, create a variable. It's a name. Name is our variable. Now a variable is a container for storing data. Yeah, I'll give you much more information on that. This is just an example. So name is equal to, so my name is Wings, and then I want the computer to output my name, so I'll say print name. Then let me comment this. So print name. So you see that said Wings here. That's that. Simple as that. Simple as that. Wings. Yes. So that is all. That is all. So thank you for watching this session. And then in our next session, I also introduce you to variables and then data types. Stay tuned. Thank you.